Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is brought to you in part by our Patreon page at patreon.com/Gear Network. That's Patreon, patreon.com/Gear Network, GERE Network. While you don't have to do this, if you would like to support us, that is a very easy way to do it. For as little as $2 a month, you can get this podcast as well as all others completely commercial free, as well as exclusive content like Patreon-only podcasts, videocasts, and blogs that are not regularly available on GearNetwork.com or any RSS feed. Your support helps us continue to keep up with upgrades to software, purchase professional equipment, and assist us with production costs. Again, patreon.com/Gear Network. Do it right now for as little as $2 a month.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
Hi, this is Malia, and you are listening to All Bets Are Off with Robbie Vegas.
What's up, Rock Soldiers, Marks, and Creeps? This is Robbie Vegas coming back to you with another episode of the All Bets Are Off podcast. Today, my guest is Vaughn Vertigo. You may have heard of Vaughn. He's been around for a long time, started very young, just recently got back from another tour of the UK, based up in Ontario, Canada. And I actually met Vaughn when I worked against him and Gabriel Fuerza as Fight or Flight about 3, maybe 4 years ago up in Oshawa, Ontario. So we'll be bringing this episode to you just here in a minute. I do need you to check out unchainedmuscle.uk for all your gym going needs. They got shaker bottles, hats, gym bags, tank tops, leggings, t-shirts, shorts, whatever you might need, sweatpants, and they'll donate to mental health charity. Normally we would plug the Nickel City Con, but right now it's been indefinitely postponed. But as soon as we get that back up and running, we will be sure to get that to you and all that information. And you can, of course, keep up with it at nickelcitycon.com. And make sure if you do go check out unchainedmuscle.uk, you use code RVegas20 to save yourself 20% at checkout. So let's get Vaughn on the phone. All right, Vaughn, so the first thing I want to do is just thank you for being on the show. You were actually one of the first people I asked when I started doing this, and we just got around to it now.
No problem, man. I'm very happy to be here.
So let's just start back at the beginning, because I know from you that you started doing this very young. How old were you when you had your first training session?
Yeah, believe it or not, I was actually 14. I just turned 14, and there's a friend of mine from the town I grew up in called Port Hope. We're about an hour out of Toronto, but he found Square Circle Training. And he said he was going to go check it out. And I was like, absolutely, I want to come with you. I mean, I can't drive. I'm 14. But, yeah, so I went with him. His dad drove us, and then sometimes my dad would drive me. And then we started going up there once a week. They ran classes actually 3 or 4 times a week, but it was just not feasible with school and whatnot to be there all the time. Okay, so you were training, like, steady since you were 14. Yeah. Okay. I think I took, like, a few breaks here and there where, like, my rib hurts or, stuff like that, but, like, or just because, like, school would flare up and get worse, and, but I was pretty consistent for about once a week. Oh, wow. Okay. So were you able to, like, take bumps and things like that, even at that young age? Yeah, absolutely. In hindsight, I kind of wish I didn't take bumps, because I think it may have affected my growth and my body, because when I first got there, I mean, I didn't really hit puberty until maybe, 8 months into training or whatnot, but, yeah, they had me bumping. They probably took it a little easier on me, from what I recall, but, no, I was treated just like everybody else. Okay, so how many years have you actually been in the business now? I just hit 10 years in February, so a little over 10 years, yeah. Oh, wow. You're already a 10-year vet, sir. Wow. I'm 24 years old. Yeah, right. You may be one of the youngest veteran guys. I guess so, but I mean, those 3 years at the beginning was just training. I wasn't doing shows, and if I was doing anything with shows, it would have been, helping out or being a referee or, running cameras or, just general helping out with the show. So what were your inspirations in getting into wrestling? Like, what was the thing that made you go, yeah, I'm going to do this? I think it would have been 2 things. One would be Jeff Hardy. When I discovered Jeff Hardy, I was like, this man is the best. And my real name is Jeff, so I think that had something to do with it. But the man had no fear, right? And I think that something that I really attracted myself to. Because as a kid, I think I was very nervous, very scared. So I think seeing someone like Jeff Hardy who just didn't care about anything, it kind of exemplified what I wanted to be. The other would be SmackDown vs. Raw. You know, video games.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my friend is actually the nephew of Chris Stratton. He would rent the games from a movie gallery or Blockbuster up here in Canada, and he'd bring it over to my house, and we'd pop it in the PS2 and play it, and then I'd open the game and be like, oh wait, Trish Stratus in this game. That's your aunt. And that's kind of how I discovered wrestling. I was like, this is your aunt in a video game. And then I played the game, and then through that, that's when I started watching weekly. I started watching SmackDown, because at the time we didn't actually get Raw, but I convinced my parents to get the other channel that had Raw, so I could watch Raw and SmackDown.
Okay, very cool. So would you say starting that young made you like more of a natural because you were so young when you first got into it?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I think I was always able to pick up moves and whatnot, and part of that's because of backyard wrestling and just kind of, you know, watching something and trying to figure out how to do it. But I think everything else behind it, just like in terms of character work and psychology and all that stuff, that took a long time for me to kind of understand. That stuff I didn't grasp right away.
Okay.
Because I just want to do moves. You know, every young kid just wants to go out there and do moves. You're in. You just want to do every single thing you know, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. Like you just walk in the door right away, and you're like, okay, show me how to do cool moves.
Exactly. There's a great story of the Young Bucks when they first started training. I think it was Nick, the younger one. They literally they walk into school. Nick was up to the top rope. There's a shooting star, lands on his feet, and then shakes hands with everybody. Like, oh, come on, man. But it's true. Like, as a backyarder, I really just wanted to, you know, do moves, essentially.
Right, yeah. Okay. So who would you say was your Mount Rushmore of professional wrestlers that are, like, the top of the top for you?
Now, would you say when I was a kid or kind of how I think now?
When you were a kid. Like, yeah. I guess I should clarify that.
Well, I guess, yeah, definitely when I was a kid, it would be like Jeff Hardy, Shawn Michaels, Rey Mysterio, and probably say Edge.
I could see each one of them in you.
Yes, exactly. I've definitely taken a lot of inspirations from that. In terms of now, I'd say like Dana Bryan, Jericho. I'd still put Michaels on that list. There's no question.
Yeah.
In terms of a fourth, it's got to be like Eddie or Benoit.
Yeah.
How much work they put.
Oh, they're almost untouchable, you know?
Oh, absolutely. And just that era of wrestling, the Ruthless Aggression era of wrestling is something that I always gravitate myself to. Although I caught the tail end of it, I guess YouTube was kind of becoming a thing when I first started watching wrestling. So there's so many clips on YouTube I just go back and watch, you know?
Yeah, oh, yeah, for sure. Now, you're part of Fight or Flight, but you're also a singles wrestler. So when you first started actually getting booked solid on shows, what did you start with? Were you Fight or Flight right off the bat, or was it just Vaughn Vertigo?
We were kind of singles, actually, Flores and I. So
okay.
I got booked on my first tag match. No, actually, I didn't know it was a tag match at the time. I was just told, hey, you're going to be debuting in 3 months. Get some gear. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll get some gear. I don't want to get like high spots gear or any of like the lucha gear, any of the stuff that's pre-made. I'm like, I'm going to get legitimate gear, and I did, and it was pleather tights. So then on the day, Fuerza shows up with me, and they're like, oh, Fuerza's in the match. Fuerza's like, I don't have gear. So, I'm sure he's probably still doing it on this, but he had to borrow gear from somebody else. He looked like he was wearing he looked like he was like Mexican Fandango, you know?
Oh, okay.
But it was a tag match, and we were actually against each other. From there, we ended up wrestling each other singles on another show, and he still didn't have gear. I think he just wrestled in shorts. That's where I ripped my pleather tights, and that was last for pleather. I never got pleather after that.
That's hilarious because my first pair of trunks were pleather also. I still have them.
Did they rip?
They did not rip. I still have them.
Oh, lucky. Mine were too tight, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I'll never ever wear them again, but I have them.
That's hilarious. Yeah, it's definitely something you don't want to wear forever. But I mean, pleather was think about the 2000s indies. Like everyone wore pleather. Everybody like baggy pleather, you know? Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly what everybody had. So it was like, why wouldn't I do that?
Absolutely. It was just a style, and you go off of that. So Square Circle Wrestling, where we started, not the Square Circle Wrestling in New York, Square Circle Wrestling in Toronto. Around 2014, they said they were going to have some sort of television segment. Never happened. Anywho, they approached myself, Ulysses, and Alexia, and they wanted to create a team with the three of us, kind of akin to like Ravers.
Okay.
And that's how, this isn't how Fight or Flight started, this is how Candy gets started. Now, we really didn't want to do this character because we didn't feel that it fit us at all, because if you talk to us through it, none of us are partiers at all, or let alone Ravers. But we went with it. And I feel like by the time we actually started to actually enjoy it, by the end of that year, when Square Circle Wrestling was shutting down, we didn't get to do it anymore because Squared Circle shut down, and we started to enjoy it. But after that, we decided, well, I mean, what's going to make us stand out is to stay as a team. So that's when we rebranded ourselves as Fight or Flight, because we didn't want to do the Candy Kids anymore.
Okay, gotcha. Now, that's how I met you guys, was Fight or Flight, when we came up and we did the Nightbreed up in Oshawa. And I got to say, even since...
Synergy, that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, right, yeah. And I think they were probably only a thing for about 3 shows.
Yeah, like two or three, something like that.
Yeah, because we were supposed to have a feud that never happened. But,
You're right. You're right. We were supposed to.
Yeah, it was going to be the 3 of us, and it was going to be Fight or Flight.
And like a 6-man tag, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. The British Brawler was going to be your 3rd man.
Oh, Brawler, yes, okay, right.
So now, even coming from then, you guys, stepped up your game in the promo department tenfold, and I said this to Fuerza when he was on the show as well, but your promos that started coming out since then were hilarious, and they just made me want to watch you guys even more, because you're 2 of my favorites up there. So, that just, stepped it up even more for me. So where did that come in? I heard his side of this, but I kind of want to get yours.
I'd probably say that was about a year ago. I mean, I've always done kind of promos by myself and kind of had, an artsy videography look to it, because that's my background. In terms of Fight or Flight, I didn't want it to be the same thing. But we love awful 2000s comedy movies. Not awful, but, kind of like Hot Rod and Superbad, those types of movies. Yeah. And we kind of felt that as Fight or Flight as a character, we kind of felt like kind of 2 dorky teenagers. So we just kind of wanted to play off that, essentially. And then throwing Alexia in there sometimes makes it even funnier.
Awesome. All right, very cool. So over the years, give me some of your favorite opponents, whether they be singles or tag teams.
As a tag team, definitely the Smash Brothers, Dark Order, USDO, or LAX. I mean, those are 2 teams we've wrestled a few times. But I wish we had to get the opportunity to wrestle again. But they're off in AEW doing their own thing. But
right,
that'd be very nice to do that. In terms of singles opponents, people like Brent Banks, the guy that I grew up watching, who I traveled to England with now. Kip Sabian from the UK was my first UK opponent. Now he's in AEW. Mm-hmm. He's another one that I've wrestled twice, so I very much enjoy wrestling. Other than that, there's a ton of Ontario guys that just don't get the light they deserve.
I agree.
I don't know. There's so many of us, but a lot of us don't cross the border because we're scared of the ramifications, right? You heard people getting banned for a year, banned for 5 years, it turned around. It's just very sketchy to do it anymore.
Yeah,
but I wish those guys had the opportunity to go across,
Yeah, yeah. So I asked Fuerza the same question I'm about to ask you, but give me a match that really meant a lot to you and kind of pull back the curtain on it and why it was so special and why it's one of your favorite matches that you've ever had.
I think most recently it would probably be myself and Tyson Dukes for the Dairy Heavyweight Championship. I partly because I didn't know the story, or I didn't know I was winning going into it.
Okay.
I only found out in the second. But Barry had always kind of built me as this guy who kept losing, and then the crowd kind of rallied behind me, and I kind of used that as fuel. And then they had a faction of the Pillars at the time, which was Brent Banks, Tarek, Tyson Dukes, and Sebastian Swab. Mm-hmm. And they were kind of running for everybody. And then kind of behind the scenes, we all felt like they were kind of taking the spotlight away from everybody else. So I kind of turned that into a story when I had the opportunity to wrestle Tyson Dukes. So I put on a promo video. If anybody sees it, it's on YouTube. Just kind of like I just made a real promo about how I felt, essentially. And it kind of gained a little bit of steam, and I'm very happy with the story that I kind of crafted for that. But the match itself is, Tyson's a guy who's been wrestling for 20 years, and he's someone I very much respect in that regard. And to wrestle him for, I think we went 25 to 30 minutes, something like that. It was more of a test than anything, because I didn't know if I could do it. And to wrestle his style as opposed to my kind of high-flying style is another part of it. But yeah, I have him in Kimura Lock at the finish. Mm-hmm. But I don't know it's the finish. And Tyson just kind of looks me in the eye and says, "You're going over, kid." And I'm like, "Huh?" And he taps out. I'm like, "What?" Okay, cool. But I'm sure if there's footage of my face in that moment, I'm just like, "Huh?" I just forget when I'm holding a submission.
That's excellent.
Everything stopped in the room. And, I was like, "Oh, cool. Okay, I guess I'm winning the title. That's fun."
Tyson's one of my favorite people too. He was one of the first guys I met when I started, and he's excellent. So that's awesome.
He's the guy that treats everybody the same, and I always respect that about him. Even when I was younger, when I meet him, he's treated me the same as I was, now. And I think that's very respectable in terms of somebody.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So my next question for you would be then, how many countries have you wrestled in so far?
5 or 6. I mean, technically, I guess 5. If you count the UK as one country, then I haven't wrestled in Wales, but technically. But it'd be Canada, America, the UK, Germany, and Italy.
Oh, wow.
No.
Very cool. So your last stint over in the UK got cut short because of the coronavirus, right?
It sure did. Brett and I were supposed to be there for 6 weeks. Most of the stuff we had planned was in the first 2 weeks anyways, so that's thankful in that regard. But we decided, like, we can't stay here. It's not profitable. If everything's canceling, and we don't know how long we'll be stuck here if the country gets locked down, right? So
yeah,
we decided last week to go home, and then, yeah.
That was actually my question to you. Like, were you guys afraid that you were going to get basically stuck in the UK since all wrestling was being postponed, you would have had no income?
It would have been fine if wrestling was still going on and got stuck in the UK, because, we'd have something to do. But, like, the fact that we don't have a place to stay, like, usually we're just sleeping on people's couches or, just going between houses, essentially. If we had, like, a physical place to stay and wrestling was still kind of happening, then it would have been feasible. And that would have been fine if I could stay there for, 4 or 5 months and come home. But with everything, you looked at the trajectory of Italy and you saw what was happening, and we're like, there's no way. Like, we have to get back now. And the government's telling us to get home. I get text messages saying, like, you should probably, if they're getting home, things are ramping up back here. Like, okay, well, I guess I'll pay the extra $900 to get home, I guess. Like, what else am I going to do?
Oh, wow, yeah.
But it's better to be stuck home, though, at least.
Yeah, and, you're here, well, they're not here with me because I'm in the U.S., but
yeah, exactly.
You're home,
you're not that
safe.
Far. I mean,
no, we're probably only like 2-3 hours apart, right? But actually...
Like are you upstate New York, or are you Pennsylvania there?
I am actually in Buffalo.
Oh, you're right in Buffalo. Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
You're very close, then.
Because you used to wrestle for my home fed, which is Upstate Pro Wrestling, before I got there.
Right, because had you wrestled there before, or is that only recently you started working there?
I've been there since probably the month after you left.
That's so wild. That's so funny.
Yeah.
But that's true.
I had
a lot of fun matches at Upstate.
Yeah, and I was actually hoping that we were going to get to work together again when I got there, and then I found out that you were gone.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It would have been nice to do something else, but hopefully we're going to have another opportunity up in Canada at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. I will definitely make my way up there if that's going to happen. So with that being said, my next question is actually who you'd still like to wrestle that maybe you haven't wrestled yet.
There's a few guys. In terms of Ontario, Aiden Prince is one that I really want to get in the ring with. Daniel Garcia is another that, he's blowing up right now. He's doing everything. Mm-hmm. I've only had a short tag match with him once, but it'd be nice to do singles with him. Just think here, because I wrestled a lot of guys from Ontario, and I think I had a list last year that I put out, and to be honest, most of it actually happened.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think here. Another match with Kevin Bennett would be really nice as well.
Oh, I didn't even know you guys wrestled before in the first place.
we did. We did wrestle. We wrestled like a Comic-Con show once, and it was really, really fun. But another singles with him would be great, because we also both have like a backyard wrestling roots, right? And I feel like those are the people that I have the most chemistry with.
Awesome. And, while we're on the topic of just wrestling all over the place, what was it like wrestling in Italy? Did you have a hard time with, like, language barriers, or?
You know what? The first time I went, I actually wrestled a guy from Scotland, so there was no problem in terms of communication there.
Okay.
Communication at the merch table was a little complicated. But for the most part, they know English pretty damn well.
Okay.
The second time I went, Brett and I had a tag match with 2 Italian guys, and the one guy only spoke English, the other one didn't really know any English, so that was a little complicated. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, like, wrestling pretty universal. Like, you can show somebody a move and they'll understand. And if not, there's usually somebody around who knows English. And I think English is just such a important language, and most countries seem to have a base knowledge of how to speak it, so it's really not much of an issue. Okay.
So now, next couple questions are going to be steering away from wrestling for a second. On the podcast, we also talk to a lot of musicians and a lot of people involved in, like, horror and paranormal. So my question to you is, are you a fan of horror films like Fuerza is?
I definitely like horror films, but I'm definitely not as into horror films as Fuerza is. There's no way. He's way past me.
So do you have a certain style that you...
here and there, but...
Okay. Do you have a certain style that you like slashers, or like...
I kind of like thrillers, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, we went on... Me and Fuerza went on and on and on about horror movies for a while, so I just assumed that...
He's definitely your guy for that. In terms of, like, what I've watched recently that I really enjoy, have you ever seen the movie Creep on Netflix?
No, I have not.
That one's really good. You should give that a watch. It's about a guy who... he's just, like, generally, like, super creepy, and you don't know what he's going to do. He just invites the guy into his house. Another one is Hereditary, which is a very popular one right now.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that, Robbie, you really got to watch Hereditary.
That one is actually something that I consider extremely scary.
It is extremely scary, but I don't know. A lot of people have nightmares from horror movies and whatnot, but I don't know. Like, I feel like I have this separation with horror movies where it doesn't really affect my life, and I don't know if that's just because I'm weird or I just don't take it seriously enough. I don't know. They've never really affected me as they affect other people.
Okay, fair enough. Now, my second question is, what kind of music do you listen to get yourself amped up in either the gym or for a match or anything like that? Do you have a certain style that you like?
In terms of getting amped up, I would say it's kind of like that, like 2000s, like rock. You know, the stuff they use for like WWE pay-per-views.
Yep.
In 2000s, like Puddle of Mud and Stained, bands like that. But yeah, in terms of hyping myself up, it's very different from what I wrestle or from what I listen to on a regular basis. Because myself, like if I'm just walking down the street or walking through a forest or whatever, I listen to a lot more like folk indie music, which is quite different from wrestling style.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's actually really cool that you got that switch like that. So does it actually help you become Vaughn Vertigo when you're trying to get amped up, would you say?
I think so sometimes. Another band that I very much listen to is Oasis, and I think that's where my character dealt into quite a bit from. So, some of those harder tunes, like Morning Glory and whatnot, will definitely amp me up before a match.
Okay, yeah, I think I even I commented on something of yours on Twitter one time saying that you look like a cross between Shawn Michaels and John Lennon.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. I do get the John Lennon reference sometimes, exactly.
But you know what, though? That's not, and I don't mean that as an insult, so I hope you didn't take it as one, but I meant that as like...
Oh, no, God, no.
Yeah, I meant that as like a huge compliment, because like when I see your promo pictures or your videos, I want to watch your match, like, and that helps.
Yeah,
so,
no, thank you very much, man.
Yeah,
Lennon's a guy that, I haven't really delved too much into Lennon, but he's a guy that a lot of people make comparisons to for me, and I really should kind of research a bit more.
I'm just a huge Beatles mark, so when I saw that, I was like, oh.
Gotcha. Yes.
So, curving back into wrestling, give me some things that you maybe still have on a bucket list that you'd like to do, maybe relatively soon.
I mean, wrestling in Germany was one thing I just did that I really wanted to do, thankfully, and that was with WXW. But there's a lot of things I want to do in the UK, per se.
Okay.
Like one of them would be for work for Rev Pro, because they have that affiliation with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and there's a lot of guys who have made it in this industry who went through that company. Another would be Pro Wrestling. I really want to wrestle at the Electric Ballroom in Camden, London. I went there last year, and I was actually there with Brett Banks, and just seeing it live in front of me was just incredible. And generally, like, I feel like I've shifted my focus a lot to the UK, because when I first got over there, I didn't really know what my place was in wrestling, and then, like, just in the span of 8 days or whatever I was there, I completely changed my perspective on what I wanted to do and how I wanted to, just kind of break out of Canada a little bit more.
Okay, so it kind of helped you almost find yourself and come into your own as a performer?
Yeah, exactly. The first match I had there with Kip Sabian was just like an eye-opener, because I had talked with guys back home with promoters, and they just didn't really have much interest in using me. I was always just seen as like a tag guy, and that's just that, or I'd be throwing scrambles or whatever, but I always felt like I was something more. I just didn't know what I needed, per se, and I still feel that way. I'm still never satisfied with where I want to be, but the UK stuff has really helped me kind of open my eyes to what else there is out there, and it's just getting reps in a new country and meeting new people and wrestling people who are better than you, and that's how you get better.
Yeah, absolutely. But you portray like a lot of charisma and a lot of confidence, though, and I think that is a lot of the appeal, and then you come out and you deliver. So as somebody who's watching your matches usually on the internet, because I haven't been on a show with you in a while, you always deliver, and it just oozes through the screen that you have like confidence and charisma. So if that's what you picked up in the UK, like, that's huge.
Yeah. I think it's very important to, kind of, even if you don't have the confidence that day, you just kind of have to show that you have the confidence that day, because they always say like the first, 3 seconds you walk out the curtain, people know if you're confident or not. And I've always taken that to heart, so absolutely. I need to kind of have that game face on and kind of be in the mood or kind of jazz into my music,
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So what would you consider your end goal in the wrestling business to be? Like, where, if it was up to you, where would you land to finish off this career?
I don't really have like a preference. A lot of people would ask, AEW or WWE or New Japan or whatever, but I don't necessarily have a preference. I just want to be, financially successful in wrestling. Ideally, I would love to wrestle back home for 2-3 months and then, wrestle somewhere else for a month and just keep doing that on repeat. But, I'm not at that point yet where people would just want to fly me over or whatever. But, yeah, as long as I can financially make money in this business, I'm going to be happy. I mean, I have goals and promotions I want to work for, and I know that, like, WWE's not going to look at me and say, hey, we want to bring this guy in. You know, I'm not the size, I'm not where I want to be yet. And even if they ask me, like, hey, do you want to come down today? I don't think I would, because I'm not ready. I have a lot of things that I want to work on, you know, physically in terms of character before I want to take that step.
Okay. This is going to be one of the last questions I ask you here. If you could have a dream match with somebody who is either in WWE, AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor, who would that dream match be for you and why?
That's a hard question to answer with one person.
It really is. I know, it really is. I guess who were the first few that popped into your head then?
First two that popped in, one would be Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
I feel like our styles would be very kind of contrast in a sense, but I feel like that's a match that I would definitely learn a lot from. Mm-hmm. And having matches with guys who are technical guys like, you know, Tyson, I picked up a lot of things from them that I think that the styles would work well. Also, you know, it kind of breaks me out of that high-flying mold into a bit more of a, you know, technical aspect, which is kind of where I want to start going. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, a lot of guys are super flippy, can do, you know, cool stuff, and that's great. But I would love to kind of change my style to be a bit more like a Daniel Bryan style, and kind of move a little bit away from the high-flying stuff, but also keep the high-flying stuff for the matches that matter, you know?
Yeah.
Another match that would probably involve a lot of high-flying would be Will Ospreay.
Oh, okay.
Now, obviously Ospreay's absolutely killing it in New Japan right now.
Yes.
But yeah, I think Ospreay and I could absolutely have a banger.
All right, awesome, very cool. So at this point, I kind of just want you to plug your social media, YouTube, whatever you want people to know, how they can get in touch with you for bookings, or how they could just follow your career, and just kind of throw out whatever you want.
We're in an interesting time right now, and you actually can't book me because no shows are running. But if you'd like to at some point, you can reach me at vertigobooking@outlook.com. You can reach me on Twitter at @NotEnoughVaughn, on Instagram at Vaughn Vertigo, on Facebook at Vaughn Vertigo, on YouTube at Vaughn Vertigo, at Pro Wrestling Tees at Vaughn Vertigo. Many options.
Okay.
I'd love to hear from you.
So we'll just say, you know, type Vaughn Vertigo into anything, and we can find you.
Essentially, into your Google bar, your Bing bar, your Yahoo bar, whatever you want to search into.
All right, man. Very cool. Well, thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate it. I know, like I said, I asked you like a year ago, and here we are. So.
Yeah, man. Well, maybe eventually we'll get that 6-man tag.
Yeah, I know. We still got to make that happen. And then after that...
Synergy's coming back, I'm telling you.
Right. Listen, we'll make it happen somewhere, sometime, and then I want a one-on-one.
Yes, absolutely. Sounds good, brother.
All right, man.
Maybe UPW.
Yeah, maybe. All right, well, thank you, man. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good, man. Enjoy the isolation.
You too. All right, Rock Soldier, so that was Vaughn Vertigo. If you haven't heard of him yet, you will definitely want to check him out now. So 5 countries already under his belt, 24 years old, somebody to watch out for. Obviously, you know, going to be going strong for a long time. One of my favorites to watch, one of my favorite opponents that I've ever had. I'd like to make that happen at least one more time. But check him out. Check out Unchained Muscle. Use code RVegas20 to save 20%. And again, we'll keep you updated on any Nickel City movements as far as the Comic-Con goes. And we will catch you next time on the All Bets Are Off podcast. Thanks for joining us. The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Do you like sports, interactive polls, friendly banter from two guys that probably shouldn't even be on the microphone doing this stuff anyways? Well, if you do, then you're in luck. Us two knuckleheads, Brandon and myself, comprise the Listen In Podcast. That's right, Listen In, the podcast. We're talking sports.
we're talking news, we're talking topical things, we're talking all sorts of things, my babies, and you are all invited to listen in right here on the Gear Radio Network.